2023 at 6 p.m. to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman DeWalt.
Here.
Councilman Cole.
Here.
Councilman Sidnor.
Here.
Councilman Mitchell.
Here.
President Smith.
Here.
Mayor Mel.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Next agenda item is a report of the Mayor and City Council. I will start with Councilman DeWalt.
Good evening, everyone. Just a few comments concerning the possible unionization of the public works employees and the speed humps that I finally discovered while traveling Irving Street one day. I just like to. I did get the president's message about union information, and I'm a little confused that, what information are they trying to gather? I mean, it's really clear hearing from the employees exactly what they want, and a lot of them talked, a lot of them told things about what was going on in the department is the reason why they want to get unionized. And the thing that really hit me most is it says many of the workers expressed the sentiment that they used to love coming to work, but now it is something they dread because of the working environment conditions and or work culture. I find that a little disturbing. No wonder they want to unionize. Even when I was a supervisor, my main goal was to keep my employees happy, and that was by conversation and addressing them and talking to them. But apparently, that culture is not there right now. And they also gave the different statements by different employees. It's one of the top 6 most dangerous jobs in the U.S. is refuge and recycling material collectors. And we are in the streets every day, and they are essential. And if you looked out in the audience that night, you saw the police on one side and you saw the public works on the other side. And both of them are essential. They both wear vests. One uses it for bulletproof vests. One uses it to be seen while they're working on the street. They do a lot of different things, especially with the snow emergency. If you have a snow emergency, I saw a couple of them cleaning out the drains where our water drains, so it could clear that out, so that in the future our Patuxent River will be a lot cleaner and healthier. I mean, they are definitely essential employees, and they have a right. It's a fundamental right of unionizing. And the other disturbing thing is, it was like the rent stabilization. When we got to a point with the rent stabilization, we had meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and there was really nothing else to discuss. And there's really nothing else to discuss because with the public works employees, because all we're trying to do is get the city charter codified that gives them the permission to unionize. And here we are, just like with the rent stabilization, that got put on pause. Is it still on pause? Is it going to be on pause forever? I can't believe you would even put something as important as that on pause. Now, is this just this pause for the unionization? Is that go till just June, or are we going to continue it on again? And I think that's what they're skeptical of, is the pause lasting any longer than June. I think as a council that we should, I know Council Member Mitchell and myself are all for unionizing them. I don't know what the opinions of the other 3 council members are, but wouldn't it be nice if you guys would maybe communicate with them and tell them that you support them, so that this next pause doesn't go past June, if we even get to that. I mean, I got the agreement between the city of Laurel and the Fraternal Order of Police right in my hand, and it's a legal binding document, and it's about 20 pages long. There's some things at the beginning and at the end where signatures and stuff are needed, but the information that I would address is I'd get one local official from the UFCW Union Local 1994. I'd get 3 public work employees, and I'd sit down with whoever wants to be on that committee and go through this agreement, because the agreement for the FOP's already been written. It's always already been established. All you have to do is basically change the verbiage of it. The other thing I'd like to bring about is it was nice to finally get notified that we had 3 speed humps, elevated crosswalks in the city of Laurel after I stumbled one on Irving Street. I do have a couple questions about it, but I feel I stood at each one of these for 15 minutes. It's very, very effective. I know there's concerns about how long are they going to last before they have to have asphalt put back over them or anything like that, but they're very, very effective. And it's clearly to say, I discovered them originally down at Mount Rainier when I went down their Main Street. They had 4 of them, and you could just tell how people will slow down and they'll go over it lightly, because if they don't, they're going to hit it hard enough. If they're going about 35, 40 miles an hour, they'll hit it hard enough. Well, you'll see them bump up in a car, and I had 2 happen on Irving Street as a result of that. And it was nice to finally get. I am the chairman of the Public Safety and Transportation Committee, and it would have been nice to get some information prior to this, because I honestly believe that the lady that was struck here out on 5th Street, a half a block from Laurel Elementary, a couple weeks ago, early in the morning, by a person who never even saw her standing there, and the lady was 62 years old. All I hear, only thing I've heard about her is she's still in a coma in shock trauma. And as a council member, I see a lot of people. I am outside a lot. I see a lot of my neighbors, including my neighbors that witnessed this. And she said she didn't actually see the hit, but she heard it. She was on her porch, which is within feet of that street. And she said it sounded like she had hit a parked car. And when she got up and walked over to the road, she thought, at first she thought that lady had hit a child. And it doesn't make it any worse, but it would have been terrible. And that's her memories are going to be all the time about that. And it would have been nice to kept updated on this woman's condition, because every time I walk outside, I can't even hardly walk outside.
Point of order.
What's that?
I wanted to call for a point of order, Mr. President.
What does that mean, Mr. Cole?
Right now, you have exceeded the 5-minute limit in our council rules for rule number 34.
I'm so sorry about that. I really apologize, but I thought it was important talking about my neighbor and what she witnessed. And if we'd have had a speed hump on Main Street, there would have been a good chance, which I was promised 8 months ago, if there would have been a good chance that woman would still be living today, and it wouldn't have happened. But I'm sorry for interrupting your 5-minute time, Mr. Cole. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. I'll go down next to Councilman Mitchell. All right, Councilman Mitchell seems to be disconnected. I'll move on to Councilman Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Friday, March the 10th, the ladies of the top ladies of distinction Patuxent River chapter co-sponsored blood drive with the city of Laurel. I think it's very important anytime a blood drive to give back. This is actually I only gave blood one time my entire life, and that was like last August, and I was scheduled to give blood this Friday, but I couldn't give it. I had to wait 90 days. So I'm going to give it my time renew good blood again. Also on March 11th, I attended the Laurel 49 Rescue Squad Volunteer Rescue Squad 71 annual banquet along with other colleagues. And then I went out to Zeta's sororities. They had a fundraiser, Bowling for Babies. I attended that. And then yesterday as well, I attended the temple holiness month when we bring in winter to spring. And they call it the changing of season, good versus evil, and things of that nature. It's very, Councilman Mitchell was there as well. So, and Councilman Tom DeNoga. So very engaging ceremony yesterday. Just wanted to say to Councilman DeWalt about the union situation. We received a memo. I think my Mr. President might speak on that, but since you injected other council members involved, just want to set the record straight. I don't think I'll speak for myself. Other councils speak for themselves as well. I'm not opposed to a union. As you know, my background, I'm a union organizer. The administration and mayor sent a memo to the president and the council and asking us to wait until June to do certain things. So I think out of courtesy of the administration and mayor that we should hear them out. It's not like we're not hearing out the Public Works Department. We're aware of that. And I'm not against the union, to put that on record, but I do want to hear what the administration have to say. And they have a right to organize anytime they want to. That's the law. But we as a council should work together and hear the administration out before we go out and chastise one another, saying what we're not about, we don't support, we're not talking to one another. So I just want to put that on the record. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Sidnor. Councilman Mitchell.
All right. Sorry, I got disconnected there. Let me scroll up. On March 6th, I went to the Laurel for Patuxent meeting. They had a virtual meeting. On March 7th, I attended Prince George's Chamber of Commerce. They had a small business meeting at the Love Life Cafe. Later that day, I attended a press conference at the Senate building on HB 793 and SB 781 that would create a lot of green jobs related to wind energy, called the Power Act. Then I testified on SB 845 and HB 933 in the Senate, which is the Death with Dignity bill. On March 9th, I went to Martin Luther King Middle School to talk to Ms. Brown's class for Career Day. It was really fun and exciting. On the 9th as well, I went to the ACLU cannabis odor press conference. There's a bill this year to remove cannabis odor as probable cause or as the sole reason for probable cause to search a vehicle. Then later that day, I testified on a compassionate access bill, SB 587 in the Senate. And then lastly that day, I testified on the cannabis reform bill, speaking about true equity, which is SB 516. That evening, the Culture Caucus had a networking happy hour. March 10th, the Shell gas station had the grand opening, and that was exciting just to see the new finished remodeled gas station. And it was also good to catch up with some elementary school friends because it's a family business. Later that day, I testified in the Health and Government Operations for the Death with Dignity. March 11th, I attended a book signing at the Laurel Branch Library. Why Me? It's a young Black author. And then I attended the Prince George's Housing Justice Coalition meeting. That was the 11th monthly meeting at the Laurel Boys and Girls Club. Later that evening, I also attended the Volunteer Fire Department at the Savage Mill. And then I went on March 12th, the Holy Festival of Lights at the Baptist Temple. We were joined by Council Chair DeNoga and representative from Attorney General Doug Swab's office. And I just wanted to highlight that there is a Patuxent cleanup tomorrow with Congressman Glenn Ivey. And Olive on Main is having a Laurel Cats fundraiser So definitely try to stop by. Of course, just ending. I do hope that everybody, shares the sentiment of unionization. I think, the biggest question is, how quickly, we actually pass collective bargaining rights. And, that's the issue that remains. But other than that, I appreciate everybody for, working towards this issue. All right, thank you.
Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. On February 28th, immediately after we passed the No Mow Month resolution, the Environmental Affairs Committee met. On the agenda that night, we discussed the launch of No Mow Month. Everyone can sign up. The registration link is now live. You can register online, and there will be a launch on March 20th at 6:30 p.m. where people can come and pick up their signs. For those that can't pick up their signs, they can pick them up through an arrangement at one of the community centers. On Saturday the 4th, I helped with Laurel for Patuxent invasive vine cleanup at Riverfront Park. I also attended Glenn Ivy's office open house that afternoon. And then yesterday morning, I attended the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department breakfast. Look forward to seeing everybody at the cleanup tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Cole. I'll go before I go on to the mayor. Just in response to Councilman DeWalt, as Councilman Sidner said, we did receive a memo from the administration asking us to wait asking us to wait while they look into it. And again, just like Councilman Sidner said, giving them the courtesy, we're a council, we work together. I think we expressed our sentiments last council meeting when they came down and gave their comments saying that we support unionization. We're not against it. So we're giving the administration their due diligence, their time, and then we'll move forward in June. As for the pause and rent stabilization, as you know, the city as a whole, the council, the leadership of the city, me and the mayor wrote a letter on behalf of the city supporting the county bill, supporting the county do something before PGCMA even took a consensus to say they support it as well. So we also fall under that right now. So what that bill that was passed, that covers Laurel right now. And we currently still are looking into a study. And that study is, we don't have an update on that as of yet, but that's still being worked on at the moment. And I attended the Laurel Emergency Services award banquet at Savage Mill and with the rest of the council. It was a great event. I was happy to see everyone there and great to see all the members that were awarded, and they're doing a great job helping our city here, and I appreciate them. And just want to say to everyone that is looking for something, we're a council, we work together. The only way to get anything done is by all of us working together, and it's a consensus of the whole council, not one or two persons on this council. And I'm looking forward to this council working together, finishing out this term, working together, and actually getting work done. Again, communication is key. So when you have concerns, don't run to the press, don't run to someone else. Don't come right here to the table with all of us, because only the majority of this council, only the majority consensus of the council will pass anything to get anything done here. And again, I stand on that, and we're looking forward to June when the administration gets back to us. All right, I'll move on to, that's the end of my report. I'll move on to Mayor Mo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. Did have the opportunity to attend the Prince George County Municipal Association of Montgomery County chapter. They had their joint lunches down in Annapolis for our legislators, well received and provided information, had the opportunity to network with several of our senators and delegates about issues that we're dealing with. Also, I've been down there and I've testified on other bills. That's what we do during our 90-day session. And I appreciate the work that Senator Rosenpep and Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick and Mary Lehman and Delegate Barnes have been doing and working with us on some funding issues. So we do appreciate that. The issue with speed bumps, I think if you go back, you'll see where I did announce that several times. We've talked about it at our president council meeting. So it may have been in your minutes, but that's nothing new. We've said we were going to work on it, try it. That's what we're continuing to do. And we'll make sure council's aware of any results that we find regarding that. We are working on a reasonable policy regarding those and how they should be installed, which will be provided to you as well. Did have the opportunity to attend the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments monthly Board of Directors meeting as well. A lot of issues facing there, talking about regional affordable housing, talking about regional transportation issues, talking about regional funding and things that can be passed along to local governments. And again, well worth our time to be part of the Washington Council of Governments and all the different committees that they do have and we take part in. Laurel Shell grand opening. I want to congratulate Sam down there and the entire family. They have great chicken. So if you don't need fuel, go get some chicken. Very clean. They have car wash. I think it looks 100% better, as I said to them, on that intersection there. So we want to congratulate them as well. The Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad held their banquet, their 71st banquet, annual banquet over the Saturday evening. I want to congratulate all the award recipients, especially again, Scott Gloverman, who cleans up on the things that he did. Also, Michelle Arsenal, who got the Chiefs Award this year. And I'm sorry, President's Award. So congratulations to her as well. Sunday afternoon, we did have the mayor's meeting of Prince George's County. It was hosted by Greenbelt, talked about issues that all of us are dealing with in our communities. Roughly had over 18 mayors there, so it was well attended, and the networking and the issues that we're all dealing with county government, state government, we talked about as well. The as you know, move clocks forward. The want to just remind everyone to take opportunity to check your smoke detectors, check your CO2 detectors, make sure they are working. Most are 10-year battery or should be 10-year battery now, but it's always good to take and clean them off, make sure they're working, do the little test if need be. But we want to remind everybody about that. We did have a fire over the weekend as well, and luckily just damage and no one was hurt. So that concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Next agenda item is agenda item number 4, the general public hearing. Madam Clerk, I see we have 2 people signed up to speak so far. Are there any more?
No, Mr. President, just those 2.
Okay. Well, please note each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. And I will go down the list, starting with, I will open the public hearing at 6:25 p.m. And I will call on John Berry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm John Berry. I'm from UFCW 1994, and we represent the members of the Laurel Library. I was at the last meeting, but the microphone went out, so I just want to reemphasize. This is a worker effort, a worker-led effort. The employees of Laurel started it and supported it without us going in and talking to them about it. Right now, they have twice as many cards as would be required in the private sector. They've made their decision to go into collective bargaining. Right now, the city doesn't grant them that right, and that needs to change immediately. Not in 8 months, not in 20 months, right now. It's up to the city to facilitate that without any delay, workplace intimidation, or any other tactics. We haven't detected them yet, but we're familiar with them. These are public workers. They perform an essential service, and they're doing it for the citizens of Laurel. And from my experience and your consensus, I don't think anybody is out there saying they don't have that right. So let's fix it and let's move forward with the other discussions. I don't know how much discussion this requires. Good, thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Alejandro Miranda.
Good afternoon. This is Alejandro Miranda. I just want to hear a little bit more about how's the process is in the case that the worker they trying to unionize. Because I had the graphic here in front of me that says the ordinance and resolution typically begin with an idea from the community, council members, or staff. So the process is already started, and this is an election year. I just wondering why it has to be until June move this conversation when it's our understanding the council member they also bring to the table, and I think if you delay until June, then it's gonna be late. Then you're gonna say we are an election year, and then you're gonna delay everything. So, and the worker they deserve. You saw the last meeting, we were there, and I just want to understand. Like I said, I had in front of me the graphic, whereas the process is already started by the workers and the staff and the community, because some of the workers they live in your community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. That is all we have left to speak. I'll close the public hearing at 6:29 p.m. Would someone from the city administration like to comment on that at the moment, or is there no comment at the moment?
Well, Mr. President, I think, as I said, we'll pull everything together. There's a lot of statements that are being made that just really, I'm not sure if they've understand the full process. No one's going to threaten anybody. Let me assure you that. I was the mayor here. I think I'm probably the only one that's the elected officials when the police department did theirs. We understand what when a department wants to unionize, but we're also going to make sure that it's fair for the employees as well as the city. And there is a process. We'll go through that. I'm not sure what the election has to do about it. This is going to be done before the election. So all of those statements just need to relax. It has nothing to do with the elections. We're going to make sure it's a process that we follow. And I've been through one of these processes, and we'll make sure everybody can answer questions when they're asked and they give the appropriate answer. So I've talked to numerous public works officials as well. I've talked to some that are not sure what they want to do. And I told them basically they should talk to their representation down there. So there is a little confusion, but I'm okay with this. I think everybody up there is okay. I'm not sure what this, demanding immediately and everything else done. We've got a process to go through. We're going to go through it, and we're going to be fair with everybody. We're right in the middle of the budget time. We're right in the middle of the CIP we're trying to get from a staff standpoint. Over 8 months, we've been working on trying to revise the salaries for all of our employees. As you know, the union contract was just done from the FOP, and we were trying to do a citywide. That takes time. That takes a lot of the same people that will deal with all of this. And then you go into negotiation. So for those that thought maybe this was going to be done by this budget cycle, we're already moving forward with our budget. And the questions about whether, there's intimidation or anything else, we know better, and we're not going to do that. We treat our employees fairly, and we will continue to do that. So we'll move forward as quick as possible, but there are several other things, as I just mentioned, that we're doing. And I feel very comfortable this will move forward long before the elections gets here. So thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, all right. Moving on to agenda item 5, which is a bid recommendation for fleet acquisition and Department of Public Works for 2024 Freightliner 1010 dump trucks. Director Lee, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President Smith, Mayor Moore, and council members. As discussed at the work session, the Department of Public Works is requesting approval for the purchase of 2 heavy-duty trucks with plow and advanced snow fighting capabilities to replace fleet that have exceeded their cost efficiency and current engine hours lifespan. These trucks will have non-corrosive aluminum beds to reduce weight, increase fuel efficiency, and eliminate corrosion. These vehicles will also be outfitted with a pre-wetting system for brine, as discussed. The department solicited several quotes, and the accepted quote is from Johnson Truck Center of Landover, Maryland, in the amount of $494,980 for both vehicles. These vehicles will replace the 2 vehicles, which are 2009 heavy-duty trucks. Thank you. I apologize. And the funding for these vehicles is provided through the FY 2023 adopted CIP fleet replacement program. So the recommendation is for a total cost of $494,980 to Johnson Truck Center of Landover, Maryland. Thank you.
All right, any questions or comments from the council?
Mr. President, I have a comment.
All right, Councilman Cole.
I made this during the work session, but I wanted it for the record tonight again. I really support these with the advanced brining capabilities. It's going to reduce our salt pollution of the rivers and streams when we get to snow operations next year.
I have one question.
Councilman Mitchell.
Mr. Lee, how often are these trucks replaced?
It varies. Right now, most of our trucks have been replaced on a more than 14-year cycle. Generally, Freightliner, we try to knock it down to about 10 to 12 years, depending upon a number of factors, approximately 9 factors. In this case, these are being replaced at the 14-year mark.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell. Any other comments or questions from the council? All right. Well, I entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we approve bid recommendation for $494,980 to Johnson Truck Center of Landover.
All right, and can I get a second?
A second, Mr. President.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Sidmore,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Agenda item number 6 is another consideration of bid recommendation project number LA-23-06, Alley Street Improvements. Director Lee, you have the floor again.
Thank you again, Council President. This, as discussed just in the previous work session, is for the requesting of approval of a bid recommendation for the construction project and the alley street improvements. This project includes the renovation of the existing alley located between Prince George Street and Montgomery Street and from 6th Street to 7th Street. At a sealed bid opening held at 2 p.m. on March 1st, 2023 in the council chambers, the city received a total of 5 bids. The winning bid was from ENR Services in the amount of $94,893. Funding for this project is provided through the CIP 454 Alley Improvements, which is ARPA funded. It is our recommendation that the bid be awarded to ENR Services, which is a certified minority business enterprise, a disadvantaged business enterprise, and a small business enterprise located in Lanham, Maryland. The bid would be for $94,893 with a additional $20,000 contingency for a total of $114,893. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the council? All right, if not, I'll
Mr.
entertain a
President,
motion.
I have one again.
Councilman Cole.
Just for those watching at home, this was discussed in the last work session. Councilman DeWalt and I have been attending meetings with the administration and the residents that live off this alley. As much as we wanted to have permeable surface for this project is not feasible to have permeable service. So I support this, Mr. President, in its current form.
Any other comments from the council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve bid recommendation for $114,893 to E&R Services for alley street renovations.
All right, can I get a second?
A second, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Councilman Sidnor. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
motion carries.
Agenda item number 7 is an introduction and first public hearing on resolution number 4-2023, a resolution to accept the report of the City of Laurel No-Kill Community Animal Shelter Task Force, authorizing the mayor to move forward with the planning, funding, and providing a timeline for completion of a no-kill community animal shelter. I read the title into the record for the first reading. Mayor Mo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I said before, I think we're all on board on this. This is just the formal action that the council should take us so we can move forward with looking at land and other things and get this thing moving. It also calls for a CAC, Citizens Advisory Committee, as well to be established. And once that's done, we'll write it and we'll get it to the council. I think part of their responsibilities, as I said earlier, will be to really start drilling down on things, put policies together and how it's operational things to kind of get ahead of it. I'll answer any questions if anybody has any. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Are there any questions from the council on this? Comments? All right. And Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed to speak on this item?
No, Mr. President.
All right. Well, I'll open and close the public hearing at 6:39 p.m. on this. And I will move on. The second public hearing with the public possible action will be at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Agenda item number 8 is introduction and first public hearing on the resolution number 5-2023, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, to set the date, time, and polling location for early voting in the city of Laurel for the general election of November 2023. I read the title into the record for the first reading. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything additional to add from the work session, but this resolution would set the date and time for the early voting location. This year, with this election, we would have for the first time 2 early voting locations, one at the Laurel Municipal Center and one at the Robert J. DePietro Community Center. And this would also approve the time for that from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at both locations.
All right. Are there any questions from the council? All right, Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed to speak on this item?
No, Mr. President.
All right, well, I'll open and close this public hearing at 6:40 p.m. The second public hearing with possible action will be at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, March 27, 2023 at 6 p.m. Agenda item number 9 is introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 2007, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland to amend the Laurel City Code, Chapter 18 to update the permit requirements for sediment and erosion control plans and providing an effective date. I read the title into the record for the first reading. Director Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Smith, Mayor Mo, City Council members. I have no additional information to add to that. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions from the council? All right. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed to speak on this item?
No, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. I will open and close the public hearing on this at 6:41 PM. And the second public hearing with possible action will be at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 6 PM. All right, and agenda item number 10 is introduction and first public hearing on charter resolution number 177, a charter resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, amending Article 400, administration of the charter of the City of Laurel to reflect the creation of a new department entitled the Department of Community Resources and Emergency Management, and adding section 469, Director of the Department of Community Resources and Management, Emergency Management. I read the title into the record for the first public hearing. Ms. Pulley, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, and members of the council. I don't have any additional information to present to the council for charter resolution number 177 since last discussed at work session on March 1st. Once again, this is a charter resolution to create a new department for the Department of Community Resources and Emergency Management, where it would take the multi-service center, helping hands, and Office of the Emergency Management and combine it into one department. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Are there any questions from the council or comments? All right. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed to speak on this item?
No, Mr. President.
All right, well, I will open and close this public hearing at 6:43 PM. The second public hearing with possible action will be at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 6 PM. There being no further business to come before the Mayor and City Council meeting, this meeting is adjourned.